Few will have the greatness to bend history, but each of us can work to change a small portion of the event, and in the total, all of these acts will be written in the history of this generation.
7 billion. That's the approximate number of people on the planet. And we approximate it, as if near enough is good enough. But in all reality, each of us is our own entity, is our own being. And we each go through struggles every day just to be where we are. And some of us go through more. This is the story of the people with cystic fibrosis, who every day go through a struggle just to live and breathe, something many of us take for granted. Okay, well, cystic fibrosis can be a very complicated disease, so let's start before conception. Millions of Americans carry the defective CF gene, but don't have the symptoms. That's because a person with CF, cystic fibrosis, must inherit 2 defective CF genes, one from each parent, in order to show the symptoms. And where, might I ask, is the definition? Well, here it is. Cystic fibrosis is a disease which causes thick, sticky mucus to build up in the lungs, digestive tract, and other areas of the body. It is a life-threatening disease and the most common chronic lung disease among children and young adults. In the age in which we live, where medical and technological advances are so prevalent, it's easy to detect whether or not you or your partner, if not both of you, are carriers of the CF gene. Blood tests, sweat chlorine tests, CT scans, and chest x-rays are just a few ways we can find out. People with CF go through a great ordeal every day just to be able to breathe. Most of them take numerous medications, inhalers, and even have machines within their house to aid in breathing. For countless cystic fibrosis patients, it's a miracle just to wake up every day. The following is a brief clip of various cystic fibrosis patients sharing a bit of their everyday life with us.
Number one genetic killer of children and young adults in the United States, and because there's so few people that have it in the United States, 30,000 people, the government doesn't provide any funding for us. When I was born, the doctors told my parents that it was very unlikely that I would live to be 18 years old.
The doctors told us, don't expect your daughter to live to be an adult.
I was 6 months old when I was diagnosed.
It was always there. I was diagnosed at 3.
I'm taking about 40 pills a day.
In addition to that, I now do what's called a vest.
And I strap on this vest twice a day, and it inflates and vibrates at different frequencies to loosen up the mucus and get it out of my lungs. And the vest vibrates and helps loosen up the mucus.
I've had to be in the hospital like every other month. Like, I'll be out a month, and then I'll come in for 2 weeks, and then I'll be out 2 months, and then I'll come in for 2 weeks.
At the end, my husband had to carry him upstairs and help him take a shower.
It would hurt because he was so used to being independent.
Like, you feel normal, then there's some days where you just don't, and those are kind of tough days. Where it kind of hits you like, you know, will I ever have kids? Will I ever be married? Can I ever, like, really be, like, normal, you know?
If somebody was picking on him, I can help him. I can defend him. And I couldn't defend him against this disease. I feel helpless.
The gene for cystic fibrosis, CFTR, makes a protein which controls the movement of salt and water in and out of your cells. In people with cystic fibrosis, the gene doesn't work effectively. As a result, cells that line the passageways of the lungs, pancreas, and other organs produce thick, sticky mucus, which has to be coughed out by the patient. Cystic fibrosis is a life-threatening and at times deadly disease. But if detected early enough, one can begin treatments through medication, diet, and exercise can help improve lung function. Exercises like soccer, jogging, swimming, and anything really that increases lung capability are recommended by doctors. If the condition continues to worsen, doctors may recommend a lung transplant. However, only 50% of those with lung transplants survive more than 5 years. Learning about cystic fibrosis has given me a true admiration for those who suffer through this disease. I'm truly thankful for every day that I have, and I hope that each of you will be also.
I know